You know what he had, Steve? Low self-esteem. Don't get it, do you? You need to get a sense of humour for Christmas, Stephen. How we doing, everybody? It's Kev Ashford back for a Van Cam here on the biggest Man United fan channel in the land. This is the United Stand and it's match day. It's Boxing Day. I just wanted to say, firstly, hope you've had a fantastic Christmas. It's not over yet, is it? We've got football to get through. Let's hope that Manchester United do not... They certainly spoilt the lead up to it anyway. I think it's only right that we look briefly back at Manchester United against Bournemouth. Yes, it wasn't great. It really did put me in a bad mood for Christmas, but I quickly got over it. I thought if these shower of no-shows are going to continue like this, then what, you know what I mean? I'm here, I'm bringing the vibes. I'm trying to get excited for Wolves against Manchester United today, but at the same time, you are only as good as your last game. And when I look at that performance against Bournemouth, let's look in isolation. I can look and I can say, do you know what, Bournemouth, fair play to them. They've come to Old Trafford, done an absolute job on us. But what I cannot accept as a supporter, probably the same as yourself, is when you look at a team that is put together. Now, this wasn't like a trial. It wasn't like 11 new players out on that pitch, something totally different. These players have played together before. And yes, all right, the experiment with Tyrell Malacia, it's not doing anything. You know, you have to look at that. How many times is that? We're talking a few instances where Malacia has started a game, he looks absolutely well off the pace. I'm not just singling him out, because it does come down to team selection, and Ruben Amorim has to look at that, hold his hands up and say, do you know what, gang? I've got this one wrong. And he got it very, very much wrong. But in terms of the rest of the team, I'm looking at that Bournemouth result and I'm thinking, have this lot ever played together before? You know, I did the watch along with Ricky and Beth and we're watching it, and I'm saying this looks like a team of Sunday League footballers that had just been, you know, out on the piss the night before. They've all been put together. Nobody knows each other's game. They've never played together before. And I'm like, scratching me head, man. I'm like, this is awful. It really is. It's the first game under Ruben Amorim that Manchester United haven't scored a goal. We could have played for another 7 or 8 weeks. We'd have never created any chances. We didn't create much in that game. We never looked a threat. And Bournemouth fully deserves that win. But there's definitely concerns in this team, as if we didn't know it. There's still the same issues that Erik ten Hag had at Manchester United, and they are still clearly evident under this new manager. And that's something that Ruben Amorim has to really, he has to identify this. He has to be ruthless. There's players in this team that you're going to have to start making changes. Reputation. Do not let the reputation of these players precede you. You have already made your first massive call in leaving Marcus Rashford out. You know, if Marcus Rashford is left out for a Manchester derby and left out for a home game against Bournemouth, then I think we all know deep down he has got absolutely no chance in this system. He has no future at Manchester United. But this is now up to Ruben Amorim very, very quickly to work out what players he can trust and the players that he is going to implement into his system moving forward. Not self, it's elf. Christmas, elf. Yeah, so Ruben Amorim, it really is over to him now to try and pick a team to go up against Wolves, and this will not be an easy game. But what I would say is, if you're here and you're still watching Van Cam, the road trip, you might as well just go ahead and finger that like button. Show your appreciation for the United Stand and the Van Cam here. It is Christmas. Come on, get into the Christmas spirit. That's all that Kev is asking for. But there are tweaks in this team that can be made, and at the risk of sounding like Ricky off the fan forum, but we have to have a conversation about Bruno Fernandes. Yes, he's the captain of Manchester United, but you know, it comes down to a point where if Ruben Amorim wants to be successful at this club, he has already shown that he has the big balls to make the calls So why not make a call in this? What is the worst that could happen? You know, if you're going to switch it up, and what United need to do is get back to basics. We need to be difficult to beat. In terms of the week, we've conceded 4 against Tottenham. We've conceded 3. We've not managed to score against Bournemouth. So it's an issue. You know, I don't think for a minute that anyone's going to sit here and say Kev's being reactionary. Well, maybe I am. You can only react to what you're watching, especially when you've got that Bournemouth result that's still fresh in the mind. Yeah, Kev's not happy. Why would I be happy? Getting absolutely spanked at Old Trafford by Bournemouth. But Wolves, it's going to be difficult. And you talk about horses for courses. The team that he's going to look to put out today, it's not reinventing the wheel, is it, man? If you look at Bruno Fernandes, he's not playing well. All right, he wears the armband. He goes out there. You know, he gives it his all. He runs. You know, is that where we're at this moment in time? People are saying that, you know, Bruno Fernandes, what does he bring to this team? You know, intensity. He runs. I've got to go. Put me out on that pitch. I'll do a bit of running. Granted, after about 5 minutes, I'll be blowing out my backside. But, you know, if that's where we're at the minute, we need to pick the right players for the right positions. None of this square pegs in round holes. I thought we were actually through this. But you've got Casemiro. You know, Ugarte's been an absolute breath of fresh air. So he's the main man moving forward in that probably 6th position. Could you switch it up? Why? Ahmad, I think, for me, is the first name on that sheet in the number 10 role. I put him well ahead of Bruno. Maybe we try Kobbie Mainoo, somebody who really struggled in the previous game. Is he comfortable in that number 6 role? Or could we unleash him in the 10 with Ahmad? Again, if we're talking about building for the future, yes, we want the here and now. We want the results right now. But if we're looking at building a team, could Mainoo and Ahmad be the new the 2 10s that take this team forward, that actually transform it? And it all comes down, it's such a key area of the pitch, is that number 10 role. That is your creativity. Yeah, I did just say creativity in 3 different kind of sections. But it is. And Bruno, he's done it. He's done it in the past, but it is not working now. You know, if it wasn't broke, you don't fix it. It is broke. Let's fix it. Let's try and address this situation. Do I personally think that Ruben Amorim would drop Bruno Fernandes? He's going to have to. He needs to learn this out very quickly. Previous managers have been sacked at this club, and it comes down to putting faith in players who are not repaying you out on that pitch. And I know it's a bit soon. We look at players like Xerxes. I suppose from the Bournemouth game, it was the one kind of team selection-wise I looked at and I was like, really? Yeah, Xerxes in there instead of Højlund. You know, we did have a strong bench against Bournemouth, but it just never happened. And Wolves is going to be such a difficult game. It certainly will be. They're on the back of a really good result. They seem to have just picked up at the right time. They're scoring goals. They look like they've got it together. At the start of the season, they were losing games that, when you looked at, they should have been winning. It was harsh and they should get something out of the game. But at the same time, you make your own looking football. And this really, for me, it does come down to team selection. Joshua Xerxes already admitted himself when we signed him, don't expect me to be scoring goals. I'm not that type of player. Right, okay. Well, what we actually needed, mate, was somebody who's going to score goals, because everything is on Rasmus Højlund. We certainly, at this moment in time, we don't even look like a player. We have a player that's going to score nowhere near 15 goals a season. You know, we're very, very close to kicking into January here. You know, and May will be, the end of the season, and it's done. You know, there's a lot of United fans now. They're looking at this, they're down in the dumps, man. The season is over. I'm hearing that, you know. And what it comes down to now is, if we got any aspirations of being in the Champions League, we're certainly not going to make it by breaking into the top 4 this season. It's going to take a monumental effort. You're talking about going on an absolute mental run of winning lots and lots of games, relying on teams above you to be dropping points. It comes down to the days of when Mourinho was at United, where you look and you think, our best chance, and not that it's the easiest chance, because the Europa League is not an easy competition to win, as we've found out in the past. But Jose Mourinho did put all his eggs in that one basket that year, and it paid off. He almost wrote off the Premier League season to basically go fully out and win that Europa League to get into the Champions League. And at the same time, there's probably people going, well, Kev, what's the point of being in Champions League? We're rubbish. Yeah, but that's where you want to be. And I suppose financially, from the owner's perspective and that, if you want to be attracting a certain clientele of player next season, we're going to struggle to make the Europa League as it is with our league position. Conference League, probably not even going to be in Europe. And for Manchester United, it's not good enough, man. You know, anyone that tells me different, you've drank too much. You know, I know it's Christmas, but you clearly, you've lost the plot, man. You really have. What I would say again is thank you very much for all the kind comments, really decent comments on the last fan cam. People saying, you know, Kev, bringing the vibes here on match day. I do my best. You must admit, or you can see that sometimes it is very difficult to do these. I do try to remain positive and that, but I'm not going to lie to you. Wolves away, it doesn't make any difference if we're away at Old Trafford, wherever it is at this moment in time. I am going into this and I am slightly nervous, you know, usually. And I've been stung the last couple of times. I've been fully out with the positivity train and it's backfired spectacularly. So this one, Kev's had the fingers burnt. At this moment in time, I'm just sitting back and going, I don't like the fact we're playing Wolves away. And it really does come down to so many things. Ruben Amorim has to get his team right. We have to set up right. And the players, for God's sake, you need to turn up. I mean, come on. All Kev wants for Christmas is 3 points. That's what I want. Have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your Christmas. Let's hope United don't let us down, eh? We'll see anyway. But make sure to do the like and all that, and get a comment in the comment section. I love you and leave you for Manchester United against Wolves. Come on, man. Get your asses in gear, ain't it? Come on! United!